Hi guys, welcome back to another sculpting vlog. Today is a special day. I decided we're gonna just focus on Sculptris itself. So I did mention this from the previous videos when I was modeling Monkey Island, or still am. I would go through some of the tools that I personally use, that helped me a lot. So I will also show you how to get Sculptris. So if you guys are interested in this software, here's where you need to go. Also, I can put the link at the bottom, just at the bottom of the screen. Well, not the bottom of the screen, just at the bottom. So this is the website where I got Sculptris. Just in case, I know a few people know this already, but for people who don't know this, there you go. It's kind of handy. You can go through the features, requirements, gallery. It should work all systems. You just hit free download. And again, it's free. No serial numbers or keychain necessary. It's available for Windows and Macintosh. Now, I don't think it's available for Linux. That's something you'll have to look up. I'm sure there's some YouTube videos that show you how to use Sculptris in Linux. But sure, have a look. And you just hit one of these. You just click. I already have Sculptris, so there's no point in me clicking on it. So I hope this helps. Now, what I'm going to go through here is this is what you would see when you first open up Sculptris. Of course, there's a gray ball and the background. Like, if you're wondering how I put designs or Monkey Island drawings or whatever at the background, yeah, okay, I'll start off with that. So how did I do that? Well, first of all, just little side note, there's some useful stuff here to look at as well. First, let me hide that. I just hit F1 to hide that. I'll just hide it. I go to options, and you have some images here. You can actually save this image. Like, instead of doing a screenshot, you can just save this image, like for sphere, and just say sphere, and I'm just going to put it on the desktop for now. And you can choose JPEG or PNG, your choice alone. And it renders. Hit OK. Well, actually, yeah, I did promise that. Go to background, and you go to desktop, and there's where you see the render sphere. And this is also, and soon I'll show you, someday down the road, I'll show you, yeah, I'm learning Blender. Guilty. Okay, I'll show you. I open this up. Boom. And if you do get a chance, please hit subscribe and like. I'll be much appreciated. So I hit OK here. So this is now your background. Now, my advice is don't have the background white. And the reason for this is, see the text here? If you imagine white background, all this would be camouflage, or you won't be able to see this. So it's going to be hard for you to see what things are. And these are very useful when they highlight it. Because sometimes you don't have time to remember, So we'll just go over these tools. Okay, so the symmetry is on. So what does that mean? It means you can model one side and it happens to the opposite. Like so. Now this is the drawing brush. Let's see now. Yeah. You can even put a wireframe. Hit W for wireframe. And sometimes these have features, like in Draw, you have clay. Now, I don't really think about these as much, so if you put it on, you might be able to see the difference, although to me it all looks the same. But this is the difference what you get. Let's see. Let's try another one. Let's turn this off and see what happens. This is more likely experimenting. You're better off just experimenting. So there's not much strength there. So if you hit soft, there's a little bit of a push. And if you turn it off, you get this big, it gets a bit stronger. So you kind of see the difference between when you have this on, D and S turned on, you kind of see the difference. And if you hold down shift, it smooths it out. So it kind of relaxes it. It's like the relaxing brush. So this is a useful tool as well. And say you want to reduce all these faces. So sometimes if you want, say when you're modeling, it sometimes increases the faces and it kind of can slow your computer down. So in order for that is you just hit H, or not H, sorry, Y. Oof. If you hit Y, it reduces the faces. I'll explain what H does. I think I explained enough of it. And if you keep going, it gets so low that it's kind of hard to model. It becomes a low face. So if I turn it off, like so, hit if I hit D, it turns it back on and increases the faces. Another thing as well, if I hit now, sometimes there's reaction with this. When you hit this, it actually increases the vowels. Now, this is where you can add a brush. I don't actually use it yet, but it's a very useful tool. Say you want to create a different brush, say, I think it's kind of good for if it was super high, and if you have a strong computer, you can add details on the sculpt, like say normal maps or, well, to create bumps or some stuff like that, like rough surface, you know. I think it's good for that. So at this point, I'm just going to show you what I normally use. Okay, so since I'm out here, I might as well. Okay, so this is you can do a new scene or add an object. So what's the difference? Okay, add an object. It just adds an object. You can have it just single, but you're stuck with in the central. You can't really mirror it, or you could just have it around here. So, and if you hit G is for grab. And you want to be careful when I hit on and off. This is how you can tell. If you hit G, when this is on, you can actually move the whole element, the whole object. If I turn it off, it's selecting only area that you can grab. So you can grab this area. Normally I use this for the chin or whatnot. Nice. It's like an alien. I don't know. Weird vision. So that gives you the general idea. And similar to scale, you hit T. Now these are all turned off. So again, it's on brush. You have this weird, it'll stretch like from the width or vertical, you know. If I hit T again, it turns on the globe, which means it turns off the brush and you just scale the whole object. And why is it creating this weird warp? Well, it's because the axis is turned off. So if I hit S, it's turned on, so it affects the whole object. So I could just scale it down and just hit grab. That's a good call if I hit S. Again, this is something you have to experiment by yourself. I think that's great about Sculptris. You just play it around and you kind of feel it, you know. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a new sphere, but this time I'm not going to add object. I'm actually going to hit new scene. So here's how you tell the difference. And this is where you got to be careful when want another sphere. If you want to add object, make sure when you hit new sphere, you add object in the same scene. If you want to start from scratch, just hit new scene. So you have to be careful with that. Although it gives you a warning, so hopefully that tells the difference. Okay, so since let's create a figure. Why not? Now, I'm not going to model Stan here. I already done a video on that, so you can always check through my playlist. Okay, say I want to create, we'll create a head. So I just create a head. Just flatten the, well, it can be anything. You can use any tool. There's no rules to it. You just get grab. Okay, so I'm just going to be doing this very quick. So add object. So I get here. The scale. Sometimes you can actually model directly. Yeah, okay. So we'll just try that. Just try that. Okay. So let's I use this tool to inflate. Actually, I should have hold on. Actually, yeah, I'll go through these tools. We have the crease. You hit E. The rotation, push R. It's similar to scale and grab. So, and then you have D for draw. Flatten is F. Inflate is C. Pinch is V. Smooth is B. So you have all these tools to create your character or whatever prop you're making. So I'm using the inflate tool. So what I do is I just go here. See, sometimes this is why I use separate objects, is because you have this kind of big bump, you know. And it can be I kind of feel like you just want to, you know, a little bit tighter. So I'll just show you. So you have this big cone. So this is why I would use a separate object, because it gives it more sharper. Say, let's turn S off, and you just go like that. See? No cone shape. And this is only if you want to create say a smoother or a stronger crease in the neck. Okay, this is why I prefer doing things separately. Like, it wouldn't matter anyway, because if you plan to bring this into a 3D software and you do topology, like, you can always improve on it from there. I always feel the final product is the topology project or subject or project or model. Whatever. Okay, so I'm doing this kind of quick. Add a sphere. And again. So just hit grab. It's always handy to have reference as well. Like, you can have a front view and side view on at the background, and you can follow it. Likes of if you can do something like this, say, just to match it up to the background like that. Although I kind of prefer if it was in center, so that way it'd be easier. It's like I kind of would sculpt from memory. That's just me though. But the best way I would strongly recommend is have a front view and side view and sculpt from that. That is way better than, say, this is just one reference, I'm just modeling. You know, the more reference, the better results, you know. Okay, so where do I start? Now, some guys prefer to model characters like this. They would, like, I don't know, they would do something like this. They would grab, say, an arm. Like this. Which it works. Which is kind of reasonable. And again, it comes down to people's preference. Like, I don't expect anyone to model the same way as I did with these characters. Like, you have to find what makes you feel comfortable, you know. That's what, like, I feel everyone that uses Sculptris, it's their own personal way. Like, because every artist is different. And I'm not going to go through the hands, because hands, there's a lot of form. And I do plan to do a video on how to model hands, which I'll have to do sometime. So, and what if I did the same here? Maybe grab. I think a grab is a handy tool, actually. So you get there, and that's my only complaint about Sculptris, actually. There's not a lot of tools you can use. Like, I think I'll use the draw tool just to give you different examples. I used the inflate tool there. To be honest, there's no real rules. Okay, inflate works. To me, personally, the inflate works better there. Whoop. All it takes is a... Okay, so... Well, there's ways around that. Not that way. Scale it down. Okay, use the grab tool. Yeah, just hit V. Sometimes you can add a bit of detail, like kneecaps. There you go. There you go, buddy. Luckily, the feet, there's not much to, like, feet, there's not much detail, unless you're doing toes. So, use the grab here. And let's flatten the bottom part of the feet. Whoop, that's too strong. I think this, maybe this is, it's all about exploring. Okay, so you have a quick figure here. Now, there's some features that are kind of handy as well. So let's check the wireframe there. It's not too bad. It's not too heavy, but you want to be careful you don't make it too heavy if you're bringing it into any 3D software. You wouldn't be able to rig or do animation with this with this model. Like, that's where topology comes in. Like, I think nowadays, depending how powerful your computer is, I think it may be possible, maybe you'd be able to animate with using just directly from the sculpt, but at the moment you're better off doing low topology on the model. So say there's some things in the way, so I hit tap to get rid of this. So we have tap. I kind of feel bad, actually, because I don't know how you push a Macintosh. So I'm more of a Windows guy, but I'm sure there's like I think there's a button that you hit Control instead of in Macintosh. So just to hide that, you just hide that with tab. Okay, what else to show you guys? Well, it does have a feature here. You can add a plane, and similar to sphere, add object. It could be two-side. Let's see what two-side looks like. Yep, terrible, as usual. And just delete, and add another one, add object, and you have a singular. Now, the thing about this plane, or any new sphere, is you can't really move it to the left or the right. You're stuck in the center. So I just put at the ground there, hit scale. So you just scale that up. There you go. It's maybe good as a presentation, you know. Oh, and the important tools as well. This is important. So hit Control and click out here. And it does an invert. But say you want to select a specific object. Just drag. hold down Control and hit drag, and then everything's deselected. But if I hit Control and click out here, everything is, I guess, frozen or masked. And say you want to collect the heads, only the head, not the rest of the object. Just hit the head, and that's the only part that's selected. Now this is why I always keep things separated, because if you imagine this, the neck is full modeled to the head, and you want to make changes, and all of a sudden it'll give you an idea. Now I hold down Shift and clicked on the other prop if I want both of them selected. So how do I do that again? So I hit Control, hold down the Shift, or you don't have to hold down the Shift for if they're all okay. One prop's selected. Just drag, select, and then hold down Control again. Click out here. Everything is masked, and say hold down Shift and Shift again. Well, I mean, hold it and then click. I'm going to show you why I do these spheres separately. Now imagine this is a full object and I have grab, and I want to make some adjustment to the neck. This happens at times. I know there's a masking tool, but it's like, no, I didn't want to move that. No, stop moving. No, you know. So this is why I do it. It doesn't affect the neck, you know. Keeps it clean, keep it organized. So this is why I do it. Now, what else to show you? There's a lot of things to show you. Now I want to hide. I just want to sculpt the head. So let's see if I can get this right. If I hold Control H, I think. Nope, that's not it. Scratch that. If I hit H, nope. Shift and H. Shift and H, it hides the head or the whole body. Now, I don't know what's really causing that. Possibly maybe there's some pieces that are selected by the mask. I don't know. And if I hit Control H, it unhides everything. Shift H to hide and select to isolate everything, and then Control H to unhide. So hopefully this helps. It's useful if you want to just get into tough areas that you can't reach and don't want to affect other stuff. Also, what I wanted to show there is another feature on this. You can actually you can have an animated turntable here. So if you click that, hit OK, it previews the animation. Now, how to slow it down? I'm still trying to figure that out. I'm sure to reduce the strength, I think. No, wait, which one is it? Let's see, I think it's... No, it's not that. It's just distance. But I don't use it anyway because, you know, I just only use it for design. I don't really use much of these tools anyway, so it's not like they're important to me. Hell, I even just put if I want to do a turntable, well, this is a quick way of doing it. But another option is just bring it into, I don't know, Blender, Max, or Maya, and do a turntable there, and you can polish it up from there. Like Sculptris, in my view, is only really good for designing characters and models. So that's the only way I would use it. Like, there is a paint feature. I'm not a huge fan of it, though. But actually, before I get into that, oh, you can even add more, because I showed you to reduce. Here, I'll just select that. Hit W for wireframe, just to show you more. If you hit subdivide all, it gives more polys. And this is where you can reduce This is a reduce brush. This is a reduce select. You can reduce and smooth. Be careful with it though. I should have went over that. And you have the mask that only selects areas. Say I only want to affect this area. Don't know why it's not. Don't know why it's not working now. Oh, you hold down Control and just paint away. And if you click out here, like while holding down Control, you can invert it and say I only want to affect this area. You hit your draw. Oh yeah, hold down the space and you can increase the size, you can increase the strength. It also affects it here as well. And you can add some details, which is all the faces here. Oh yeah, and there's also a brush mask. So, see, I'm sculpting here and it doesn't affect the arms. I can go crazy with this. There you go, there's your chest. It's a great way to maybe if you want to add muscles or some stuff like that. Okay, so I just hold down Control and drag and it gets rid of the mask. So, well, to be honest, there's a lot to talk about here. And also, you can save it. Just hit save. I just save it in 3D. And just hit tutorial. Oops. Tutorial. Hit save, Sculptris files. Also, don't get confused with export and save. This saves a sculptor file, and this exported OBJs for if you want to bring it into, say, I want to bring this into Blender or Maya. Just hit export, and you just type the name. I'll just tutorial. I'll just hit tutorial there. I'll just get rid of. Hit save and it already exports. So don't get confused with those two. What else to show you guys? See, I can't really cover much. Like Sculptris is something you have to try and find a way how you feel comfortable of using it. I'll just quickly go through paint. Actually, before I do, you can actually switch different materials. You can have. I use the ZBrush wax, the red wax. You can even go the droplet. It's like the spoon man or the silver surfer. You can use. Oh, there's a lot of cool. There's even ghost, which is kind of cool. Maybe that would have been good for Ghost Pirate LeChuck. Now I'll go into. Actually, there's a flat texture here that would have been good for painting, although it's hard to see. Okay, so we'll just go into paint. Resolution, this is the UV map. So now once you go to paint, there's no way of going back to Sculptris. So just hit OK. And just let it do its, I think it's like fitting the wrapping under it. Now again, I'm not a fan of this tool. I don't use it much. So propose, say, hold down Shift and H, and I only want this area affected. Now I don't think these areas are going to be affected. This is the brush, like the alpha, and this is where I think it's the texture. Let's see, remove all, save all, add set. Okay, let's just do this for the fun. Just for the fun of it. Set, okay. Whoop. See, I don't use this tool, to be honest. Oh, it's gone. Yeah, I don't recommend it. Who knows, maybe someday I will look into paint. But I feel right now I just really want to focus on sculpting. Sculpting is the only thing I want to focus on here. You can paint, and when I hit shift and select the object, just paint here. You can even add a fill. Control H. Now this is another reason why I don't like using paint. Paint gets all over the place. And you have problems with acrylics and oil paint in class, the computer still makes a mess. So, anyways. Alright, I think I'll have it just for there. So, also, just one last thing I'll just say. You can save texture maps, and you can even open texture maps and save normal, save bumps. But I'm not going to go through all that. Again, Sculptris, only good for modeling and design. Do the rest from a different software. I hope this tutorial helps. And hope you guys play around with it. It's worth playing around and have fun with it. Experiment and find a way how you feel comfortable in modeling. So until then, happy modeling.